Hi, this is part two of Special Needs Adult slash SSI, Sunday, February 24th, 2019. My name is Cassandra Xavier. I'm also known as Amethyst Ra, Amrita Waterfalls, and Endowed Goddess. So I just wanted to close with the emotional part. One of the reasons that jotting down everything I do every single day took 4 pages is because a lot of things that I would do would be affected by or slowed down by my symptoms, my bipolar and PTSD symptoms. For instance, I take public transportation, and if you Google, um, I was attending a trauma and mindfulness behavioral health, group therapy. And our teacher there talked about public transportation being a major thing for people with PTSD. So for me, I sometimes move my seat 4 times in one ride, depending on who is sitting where. We have to sit someplace where we're not where we can see everything that's happening. So the where we sit is important. I have to be sitting someplace where I have full use of my right arm because I need to move and stuff like that. We always try to get a seat by ourselves, one of those single seaters. It's a huge thing, and because I'm triggered by certain types of people, and I'm also triggered by anybody who's staring at me, a lot of times I have to move around if I'm sitting in a position and there's another seat that's facing me, and that I can't sit someplace where somebody's like directly looking in my direction the whole time. So then I have to move. So that's like a huge thing. That is a huge thing, like having to move seats, move cars, all of that stuff. Um, so emotionally, special needs adult stuff. Um, I last week I had told a friend of mine that I would go to her poetry reading today. So I knew it was a poetry reading at 2 p.m. at this particular venue with a bunch of people, and I had just hoped that the time that she gave me was the time she would be going on. As I'm preparing, because I take public transportation and I come from the suburbs, I need hours to get ready. So I'm like last night. The thing is at 2 p.m. today, 2 in the afternoon. Last night, like before I went to bed, I did my Google Maps to find out what time I would need to leave in order to make it there by 1. I always have to be wherever I'm going an hour earlier. If I'm going to an event where it's going to be a public event and I need to go early to secure my seat that's in the best place with space. Um, so being there early is something, that's just annoying, right? I mean, it's just, but I have no other choice. I mean, it's not that I don't have a choice. I'm talking fast because I'm afraid I'm going to run out of storage. But anyway, so I'm all stressed out. I'm going to go anyway, but I'm stressed out because I didn't do my due diligence before I said yes. And I have to remind myself to use the magic words whenever I'm invited to something to say, let me think about it. Let me think about it. So I just hope that there's folks out there who have bipolar and PTSD and who can relate to this. I guess I would imagine people with social anxiety go through this too. So yes, I want to go support my friend, but do I want to? And so I did the research today. There are going to be like over 20 people reading today, I believe. Oh, and the event is 4 hours. It's from 2 until 6 p.m. I have no idea when she's going to go on. Um, Also, it's an venue where I have to buy food. It's a pub. I don't drink. So that means I have to buy food. I can't sit there with a Sprite the whole night, right? Or the whole afternoon. So then I have to plan my eatings around that. So like I have to make sure that I've had breakfast, but I'm not going to have lunch so that I have an appetite. So then the last time I was there, I spent like $30. And I'm like, never again. I don't like to be around alcohol. And the only time I spend $30 on food, I never spend $30 on food. The only time I spend $30 on food is if I'm in a hotel and I'm buying enough food for dinner and breakfast. And I tip well, the delivery person. So yesterday I spent the day with my family of origin. I had scheduled this day weeks ago with them to celebrate my 50th birthday, and I was just extremely anxious during a lot of it because a lot of it is challenging. I had a marvelous time, but at the same time, like my mother would do a couple things that she doesn't know that she's doing that are mean. Like I was walking back to the table and then she patted me on the stomach, and then she smiled, and I said to her, "Yes, mommy, thank you. I love you too, mommy. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I love you." But she was saying, "You're fat." You know, that's what I felt that she was saying. So, you know, it's just really, whatever. So, yeah, anyway, so the timing of it, you know, I would never do a back-to-back thing like that where I spend a whole day with a stressful day and having to deal with family of origin. As I had a wonderful time, but there were just moments that are challenging. And then there is, and then the next day, have to like do this big thing, also another social thing. So that's part of the special needs adult thing. Usually, most people don't usually need all that much just to go to a poetry reading. Like I'm anticipating everything. Like I can't bring my tablet, and that's the other thing too. Like I always have a lot of stuff with me. I can't bring my suitcase. Like I feel most comfortable when I have everything with me that I need. Usually it's my tablet because I want to be able to write wherever I am. Um, you know, I need a big thing of like water or water with diluted carrot juice, which is really great because it has a lot of potassium, and potassium is really wonderful for people with hypertension. It helps calm us down. It reduces our blood pressure. We're usually potassium deficient, except for those of us who take a medication that makes you not be able to take potassium. But the reason is because the medication has a lot of potassium, which is what you need. But I choose to take it from my carrot juice. And not potatoes, red potatoes, dark potatoes, meaning yams and sweet potatoes kind of thing. I don't mean the white potatoes with the red skin. Anyway, I think you know what I'm trying to say. So yeah, so I think I'm gonna be doing this special needs adult SSI thing. I'm very grateful that I have a Social Security disability advocate at the county assistance office who likes me and is very helpful. And I now think I have an attorney. I've been talking with an attorney and I have an upcoming appointment with an attorney. I just don't know if she's my attorney yet, but she's with legal aid and I think that she might be assigned to me. I don't know. I hope so. I'm going to find out when I meet with her. But what I'm supposed to do for that next is gather all of my medical information and a list of my physicians and a record of my the frequency of my medical visits and stuff. And then I will go see her. So that's where I am with that. Oh, and I also did a good thing too, is I asked a friend of mine, an ex-girlfriend of mine actually, to be my contact person for when SSA, the Social Security Administration, requests information on what, you know, asking what is it like in my life? What is my day-to-day life like? Because in my initial application, I had accidentally given them my mother. I'd said that because when I was interviewed, the way I was asked, I thought I was giving an emergency contact. But then later, when they were starting to contact my mother and asking her things, I learned my mother doesn't know what hand I write with. She doesn't know if I can cook for myself. Like the basic questions she didn't know how to answer, and she was in a panic about it. And so that really taught me two things. One, um, I, my mom, I don't, my mother doesn't really know me. And two, which was painful to realize. And two, um, I really need family of choice. I really need to have somebody in my life who can speak for me. In my early 20s, I had that. But then as my symptoms worsened and I became less and less social and I isolated more, and then the only people who were close to me were my lovers, and those relationships only lasted a few years at best. Um, in Tom's case, it would have lasted longer, but he passed away. He chose to up and leave on account of some pesky heart condition. Sweetheart. So anyway, yeah, so basically I really need to take care of that. So I'm really grateful. So one of my goals for my year 50 is to start cultivating family of choice. And I'm very happy about that. And so I'll be keeping you updated and also sharing more. I'm just really excited to like tap into and be a part of this community of people who are disabled artists. Those are people who have been very helpful to me on the Facebooks, including my friend, my ex-girlfriend, who agreed to be my spokesperson. And she's a nurse, and she has plenty of disabled artist friends and she's very familiar with the bipolar PTSD symptoms, and so she can speak not only as a person who cares about me and supports me when I need help, but also as a professional, a healthcare professional who's familiar with the symptoms. That's the thing. One of the reasons I was surprised that my mother couldn't answer these things, knowing that she knew that I'd been homeless for years and have not been able to work for years and all of these things, and she has an MSW, a Master's in Social Work, so you'd think that she would understand what bipolar symptoms are like, what PTSD symptoms are like, and how those two things affect one's ability to work, especially if you have both of them at the same time. Wackadoodle. I completely, anyway. Wow. So I'm very grateful to be on this path, and I'm going to continue sharing as a disabled artist who is working towards Social Security insurance benefits and living as well as I can with bipolar 2 and post-traumatic stress disorder and binge eating disorder, but that's not part of my claim, but it's a part of my life. That's for sure. All right. Hey, you know what? Have a great day, and thank you so much for listening. I'm so grateful to be here. Take care. Bye-bye.